You ready?
What are we doing?
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I was just like, you've been here before, so I just figured.
Do I need this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say my intro, and then you're going to say yours. Yep. Ready?
As ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hey, hi. How you doing? I'm your host, Kennedy Bedell, and this is The Art Of.
And I'm your guest, Nyla, and this is The Art of the Archivist Diary.
Yeah. Nyla, we're here to talk about everything archive related, everything museum related, library related. You're very much like in the creative, historical side of art. So with your name being the Archivist Diary, like tell us a little bit about your brand.
So I am an archivist. I'm actively in archive school and library school. And so the Archivist Diary is just a way for me to document my journey into this field as an entry-level professional, introduce people to what this field is, as well as just a way to preserve my own story. So one day when I make it big, I can look back and say, look at where I started from.
Right. Oh, okay. I love that. So with your brand, do you want to do long-term, you want to continue to do content with it and be a part of like a museum or of a company or something?
I feel like I'm in an awkward space with that. A lot of times I tell people like I have my reservations about like institutional museums, you know, the big names.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of discomfort sometimes with people not always trusting the institutions, and I don't want to be a part of something that people don't trust. But at the same time, you gotta make a living.
Yeah.
And so I would love to just be an independent curator, independent archivist, and just be in the community and to ask people, what do you want me to do for you so that your story is preserved?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Independent curator. And then like through your independent curating, you're through the Archivist Diary, you're going to be creating content and, you know, exploring that whole journey.
Yes. So I see the Archivist Diary being kind of a two-part type of page, one where it actively shows how I got into this field and the different creative ventures I get myself into, as well as a space for me to preserve stories of people in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
A lot of the work I do is national. I have a few different exhibits I work on in other cities, but Baton Rouge is my home, is where I was born, is where I'm raised, is where my community is, and it's like, to me, what good is my talent if I'm taking it elsewhere all the time? I want to be able to preserve Baton Rouge stories.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so last week I had Lemon on my show, and he was asked a question, like one of the random questions he had was, what is the difference between a museum, an archive, and a library? So once he said that question, I knew it came from you, and I want you to answer like the difference between those three things.
Yes, so everybody knows what a library is, I hope. Library is public. You go in, you browse it, you could take stuff home with you, and then you bring it back. An archive functions kind of similar to a library, except you can't take anything home. It's where rare objects live, it's where artifacts are. Typically anything you would see in a museum on display, it goes to the archive when it's not on display, and it's just for safekeeping, but you can request to go look at that stuff. Again, you just can't take it home. And then a museum, it's where stuff goes on display. It's where there's exhibits. That's where a lot of the in-person learning happens. Museums host workshops. They host panel talks. They have wine nights if they really fancy. And museums are just like a community space for people to learn about things outside of a classroom setting.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. So with the archive, do you want more people to get into going to look at the archive things and not just like the things on display?
Yes, that I would love if people knew that archives are open. You don't have to be some special researcher. You don't need some special project. You could just walk in and say, I want to look at this today. And it's a cool way for people, if you want to learn more about your family history, go to an archive. Ask an archivist, hey, do you have any information about X, Y, and Z? And they will be glad to help you. Archivists are there to help the public.
Oh, nice. Okay, so is it just books and like things like that, or is it actual like pieces of work?
Archives got everything you can imagine.
Okay.
Papers, photographs, furniture, clothes.
Okay.
You can find some crazy stuff in the archive. I've found half-eaten sandwiches in an archive before. Like, whatever you could think of, like, it is literally there. It's whatever people donate, whatever institution collects, it goes in the archive.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, it's crazy because I'm a museum girl. I love going to museums and just like seeing different things. But now I think I might, you know, I've never been big on the Black history, obviously, I am big on, but this is like another level that I haven't really tapped into. So I think maybe going to like different museums and asking to like see the archive, I think that could be cool. But because one, like just growing in knowledge more, but also like, these are the things that no one really sees, or like a lot less people see. You know, everything you can go on TikTok and probably find out about X, Y, and Z from each museum, but like looking at the archive, that's something like that's been unseen. So I'm probably gonna look into that.
Yes, and a lot of times, like the people who are in charge of putting exhibits together, they are the ones who decide what gets seen from the archive. There's historically there isn't a lot of public or community input of what from the archives makes it onto display. So a lot of things go undiscovered and they just stay hidden for decades or infinitely until one day somebody comes in and it's like, hey, I want to look at this. And now it's groundbreaking because nobody even knew this was in the archive. So that's why it's important to have diverse memory workers working in these spaces, diverse audiences coming into the archive so that different types of things are getting on display.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. Now I'm learning a lot about the archive. So within your brand, like what is one of the biggest things that you push for people to know?
History happens now. If you want history to be preserved, you need to be actively doing it now. A lot of times we complain that the history books, they ain't got our history in it. They don't have what we want to see in it. And that is very, very true because historically, it's the white upper class that dictates what goes in these history books. Right. But now we're in a space where we can make our own books. You make your own podcast. Like we can promote what we want to promote. And if 20 years, 30 years, however long down the line, you want people to look back and know what was happening today, you have to be the one to say, okay, I'm going to document this. Yeah. So I want people to know history is now. And if you want it to endure, you got to preserve it yourself.
Yeah. And also like just, even if you don't love reading and stuff, like try to get into it. I'm even talking to myself because I'm not like a big reader unless it's something I'm super interested in, but finding a way to like kind of get into like that a little bit more. But I mean, I love your brand. I love your brand so much because it's very different from a lot of the creatives that I'm around. Like a lot of the creatives I'm around are things I'm used to seeing. I'm used to listening to music and being around just those forms of art, but like being connected to the creative side of like the historical, you know, like that is so cool to me. Like I love it. What's one of the biggest misconceptions about like your field? Not just like your brand, but like the field in general.
Ooh, a big misconception. That in order to be a historian, an archivist, a memory keeper, you got to have a college degree. You got to go through training. You do not. You do not. There is this West African word called griot. It literally means memory keeper. These are the people in communities who are in charge of passing down stories, making sure they know what goes on in the community and telling it to the next generation. So if you want to be a historian, literally be one. You don't have to go to college for that. You don't have to have some big career change to do that. If you have an interest in your own history, your family's history, your communities, be the historian.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I love that. You just had an event.
I did.
Called My Story, My People. It was your first event. Great turnout. I had a good time. But just talk us through what that was, why you decided to do it, like what it meant to you, everything concerning it.
So that was my first creative memory event, my first memory lab. The purpose of that was for people to just start thinking about their own story, their own family story, friend story, community, and pull out pictures of whatever they got on their phone, whatever is on their mama's phone, and print them out. Some people brought their pictures in. I had a printer available to print people's pictures out, and that was a way for people to have an artistic piece that can go up in their homes that has pictures of them and what they love. And that was archive building right there. A lot of people at the event were telling me that the pictures they were using, they had to ask their family for them, and they were seeing family photos they didn't know existed, seeing pictures of family members they didn't even know they had pictures of, and it was just so beautiful to watch people create their archive in person.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really good event. I mean, everybody that was there seemed like it was very enjoyed. I know for myself, like I was working on a scrapbook that I've been meaning to do for years, and I just like never really finished it. So that event was a great way for me to be creative and just like free my mind a little bit. Because a lot of times when I'm being creative, it's like work related, but like to really sit back and just like enjoy the moment, enjoy the people around, enjoy, you know, just everything that was there. It was very nice. I love that. So yeah, shout out to you, girl. I want to speak a little bit more about the event and, you know, events that you'll have in the future. So all your events, will they be kind of like related to this one, or what do you want to move in, you know, going forward?
I've been brainstorming on that the last few weeks. I really want like the main root or main theme of all my events to be self-preservation, community preservation, and just thinking about how do you want people in the future to look back and remember you?
Oh, I love that.
And so ideally, I would love it to be in artistic ways because I am an artist. I do make ceramics. So art is always something that's just so important to me. And I think that's like the easiest way to get people wanting to be involved in memory work.
Yeah.
And so I would love for all my events to be memory and artistic based and have that connection.
I love that. So you say memory work. Explain exactly what that is.
So memory work is like the larger term for people who work in galleries, libraries, archives, museums. They do oral histories, they do curation, and it's all about just what is collective memory? What does a community as a whole remember? What does a family unit remember, as well as your own self? And it's getting stuff out of your brain and out there in the world so that when you're gone, these memories are still lasting. They're still surviving.
Okay, nice. I'm a huge memory person. I love pictures. I love videos. Like, as a person who loves memories, if I'm like ever down or upset about something, I'll go back on my like old memories and watch videos, and it will make me feel so much better. Or just like looking back at how like things have changed so much. Like I know you just made a post about, you know, the flood that happened in 2016. So like talk to us about that and what that means to you.
Yes. So, man, this is probably my first time like talking about this out loud in forever. So in 2016, Baton Rouge experienced a 100-year flood, maybe 500. Don't quote me on the years, but it was catastrophic for most of Northeast Baton Rouge Parish. And my childhood home took on 5 feet of water. And it was just so sudden. Like, it wasn't a hurricane. It wasn't even a tropical storm. It was just rain that was just coming down. And so we didn't think to evacuate. There were no evacuation order in effect. And so I'll never forget this. August 13th, 2016, my mom woke me up at 7 a.m. and told me, this water is coming in the house. You need to pack this suitcase and we're getting out of here. I packed what I could in my little suitcase. We got my dad's pickup truck. We made it maybe not even a block up the street before we were like, we can't get through this. We can't get out, because we kind of lived on like a hill kind of, and like we were going down, it's like it's flooded.
Wow.
Turned around, went back to the house, and we look and we like, this water gonna keep coming. It was maybe like about 5 inches or so. We were like, this ain't stopping. We got in the attic, and we were in the attic 12 hours, and then we heard whistles outside, and my dad, he kind of peeked down. He opened the attic door, and we realized like the garage that had like 3 feet of water in it. Because mind you, we had been up there for so long, we didn't know what was happening. Yeah. And some guys on a boat came around to our backyard, and we got on that boat. And this is something I will take with me to my grave. Seeing my house with all that water, it was like the river just engulfed our house. And so in the moment, as a kid, I'm not really thinking of the long-term effects of this. I don't even know what I'm seeing really. Like, it's just so surreal. But to speed this along, you realize the aftermath of it years down the line of you go to look for some picture, some video, anything. And it's like, dang, we don't have that. We lost that in the flood. Like, you don't realize, like, immediately you're like, okay, clothes gone, furniture gone, but it's later down the line, like stuff that's like sentimental value.
Yeah.
You're not even realizing, okay, we lost that in the flood. And so that's why memory work is so important to me, for people to have different ways of preserving their heritage artifacts, so that, God forbid, a flood, a fire, or a tornado, whatever comes along, they don't have this stuff. It's living somewhere else in the world for them already, so they can come back to it.
Right. And so that you said 2016, you were about how old?
12. It was
12.
2 days after my 12th birthday.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So like you being 12 years old, that's still young. It's still not, like you said, able to conceptualize everything and understand like the magnitude of everything that's going on. But having those, memory, like those pictures and stuff to look back on, it makes you realize like, wow, this was reality.
Yes.
And it reminds me even, going a little bit deeper. I mean, obviously not as big as Katrina, but like it's still, similar effects in the way that, like you had to get on a boat, your house being flooded, like it's still like similar effects. It still affected you and your family and y'all's household and stuff. So yeah, the memories, I mean, they're very important to just life in general. Like I love them for just, looking back on them, but I think they're just, they hold history in them.
They do.
Like you can look at a picture and just be like, wow, like that was a very
taking me
historic
back.
moment. Yeah. Like what? I love it though. Like I really love, even this friendship, because it's getting me more into like, that side of things. Like I love it so much.
I could do that.
But yeah, like just talk to us more about like your brand, everything. I want to know everything.
So ideally in the future, I'm going to be just some big archivist, some big museum curator. Maybe I'll work with an institution. Maybe I'll have my own gallery.
Okay.
Where people can just come in, and I want it to be community-based. These museums, these institutions, historically, they're not very community-based. What's getting put in display is what the people working there want, which is cool, don't get me wrong, but what's the point of preserving a memory that has nobody else involved in it? It's just your own perspective. Yeah. So I would love to either be leading some institution and helping them shift, helping them change to being more community oriented, or having my own space where it's like, this is a space, I may own it, I may run it, but this is for the community, for y'all to come in and say, this is what I want on display, this is what I want people to know about me. Yeah,
and that's definitely what like kind of sets you apart. Like just being around you in different instances, I can tell you value community, and I can tell like when you do make it big and when you do have your own, museum or gallery or whatever you want, like I can tell you're gonna have the communities, like you're just gonna have them in mind, like the work you put out and the events you host, like you're gonna have them in mind. What do they want to see? What will make them feel like, oh, this is home? If they, they're from Baton Rouge, say they moved away, haven't been back for 10 years, they come to your museum and it's like, wow, like this really did used to be here. I remember maybe a couple weeks ago, you texted in the group chat and you was asking people
about like so much fun.
Different, spots in Baton Rouge that are no longer here. And I was like, I'm not a Baton Rouge native. So just hearing about, oh, wow, like that used to be what? Like,
yes.
What? All I know it is, like I only know it as this place. But just hearing y'all like even speak about the history of this city and like how it's evolved in certain ways, and like how things have fell off in certain ways, it was just cool to like sit back and listen to that conversation. So speak to that, like different places in BR that have gone.
Y'all, Baton Rouge, it's growing, it's changed, but it's sad to see some things go. Some things do have to go. Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
But what always comes to mind of something that left Baton Rouge that I wish could return in some way is Leo's. If you know where Cortana is, behind Cortana Mall, it used to be Leo's skating rink and Leo's ice skating rink. Baton Rouge had an ice skating rink, y'all, and I love that place down. And so when people say Baton Rouge don't have nothing, it's boring, it's this, it's that, it's like, okay, what did Baton Rouge used to have? It ain't always been like this. Baton Rouge just has stuff. Baton Rouge is having stuff now, but in the future, when we're thinking of why is it this way? Why have things disappeared? We can say, okay, we used to have this, we used to have that, this closed, why did it close? And if people don't know what we used to have in the city, they don't know how to say, how do we get this back? If they don't know something used to exist, they don't know that, okay, it is possible for us to have this sort of thing again, this sort of business, these sorts of events. And so that's why it's important to talk about, like, what do you remember? What are your happy memories of a place? And to say, okay, this is what led to me being happy here. This is why I enjoyed this. And if it's here no more, how can we get it back?
Yeah, or something better back.
Or something even better, yeah.
Okay, so Baton Rouge history. How can Baton Rouge history affect the right now in a better way? Like making Baton Rouge better, like different parts of the history here. How can we take a look at that and say, let's make this place better, or let's change this about Baton Rouge, or let's do this. You know what I mean?
Something I wish people knew about Baton Rouge is Baton Rougians are strong. Baton Rougians have always been fierce, and they have always been the leaders of change. I think every time I meet somebody new, I talk their ear off about how Baton Rouge had the first bus boycott during the Civil Rights Movement.
You knew. You told me that.
Like, we had our bus boycott before Martin Luther King had it in Birmingham. He based the Birmingham bus boycott off of the Baton Rouge bus boycott.
Let them know. She's speaking history,
Like,
y'all.
my grandfather and his brother, they bought a bus for that boycott.
Right.
And they would pick up students from around the city, because, you know, they boycotting the bus system, and they would bring them to Southern University. And so I need people, not one, I need people in Baton Rouge to know that this has always been a site of change. We have always been leaders here. But if this sort of stuff isn't being taught, how can the young generations know I come from leaders?
Yeah.
I come from change makers.
Yeah.
If they aren't seeing this in history, if they aren't knowing this, they have no examples.
Yeah.
They have no inspiration.
Right.
And so it's so important for us to just teach these things about Baton Rouge that show this has always been a place of creativity. Creatives breed in Baton Rouge. Like, Baton Rouge has always just been such a creative space.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there has been a culture in Baton Rouge where people feel like they got to get up and go. They aren't being supported here. And so even though we have had so many artistic people here, like Frank Hayden, he was a master sculpture artist. Look him up if y'all know who he is. But he would do a lot of his work out of state. And it's sad because he was a very profound, very prominent Black sculpturist that people don't even know lived here.
Yeah.
Lynn Whitfield, she from Baton Rouge, y'all. Like, so many creatives are from here, and they leave, and when they're gone, the young generations don't even know they're from here.
Yeah. So getting back to making spaces for, you know, creatives to feel like they can be promoted here and thrive from here. Also, kind of going back to the making change part. I think another, you know, thing that goes into that is like seeing that in history, people put in actual work. Like they made sacrifice. They put their pride aside, and they're like, no, we're not doing this. This does not align with my morals. So we're going to boycott. You know, I feel like sometimes we hold on too much. Oh, we can't do this because it looks like this, or we can't do this because we're going to lose money. We can lose money. It's okay.
Exactly.
We will be okay. If it does not align, exactly. If it does not align with your morals, why are we still holding on to that? Okay, I got probably maybe one more question. I might have some more, but I want to ask, what is the art of the Archivist Diary?
The art of the Archivist Diary is being excited to learn about yourself intimately, learn about what do you remember, and being excited to learn what do other people remember, and seeing what can come from remembering things and diving deep into the depths of your mind and saying, wow, I didn't know this about myself. I didn't know this about this other person. And now we can come together and we can create something out of this that other people down the line can say, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It really, like, it does bring people together. Like, memories bring people together, whether you're meeting up with someone in college and y'all talking about, you know, y'all's college days. It's like, it's reuniting you in another level. I really love it. I love it. I can't say, like, I can't really explain it, but I genuinely love, you know, photos and videos because of what they hold. Like, it can almost, I can look at a picture or a video and it can almost put me back into that same state. Like, I feel like I'm living it in the moment. So, you know, I genuinely love it. Love everything that you're doing. I love the route that you're taking. yeah, continue to just like, push your brand out, continue to push, the historical side of things to people, because I feel like sometimes, especially like young people, we may not get into that until older, but
now is the time. While you actively in it, now is the time to be writing it down. Keep a diary. It's called the Archivist Diary. This is my diary. Keep your own diary.
I know that's right. And yeah, just like even like from the little things to the big things, like just write it down and look back on it one day and be like, wow, like even with like my brand kind of, I think like,
girl, this is an archive.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna look back at this 10, 20 years and be like, wow.
Like, look at so they big now, but I remember when they was in Baton Rouge on the Art of Showcase.
But also looking at how things evolve, like how I evolved through, like, I'm probably gonna look at this episode 20 years from now and be like, oh my gosh, I could have did so much, but because you just grow and you change and like, but I'm also gonna look at it and like, oh wow, like we were so young, we were babies, But yeah, I'm a memory core girl to my core, you know what I mean? But that's pretty much all that I have for you. Tell them any last comments you want to tell them, any last like things you want to push out, let them know.
If y'all need help preserving your memory or you want to learn how to do it, follow me at the.archivist with an S at the end, .diary. And I'm going to be putting more events out throughout this year. And yeah, just be on the lookout.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned to everything she has going on. If you want to, possibly collab with her on something, let her know.
Collab with me.
If y'all want her to be an independent curator for something, let her know she's into that.
I do
consulting. Just reach out to her for, even if you have questions about like, the specific things that we talked about on this episode, definitely reach out to her. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned this Saturday for her event recap. It was really a beautiful event. I had a great time. Can't wait to the next one. Yeah, that's it. All I have for you. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for next week.
Bye, y'all.